End of a period of salvation and start of a new one. BD number 7756. November 26, 1960, there will be no spiritual change during this period of salvation anymore. People have lost faith in me, and even if my gospel is spread throughout the world there will only ever be a few who accept it, yet increasingly more will fall away whose belief was just a conventional faith and who only need an incentive in order to cast it completely away when a decision of faith is demanded of them. Only a small flock of people have a living faith, who establish the contact with me in their hearts. Only a few people associate with me like children associate with their father, who therefore also always experience my evident help when they encounter difficulties and who thus will also passionately endorse me because they are inwardly convinced, thus have a living faith. And this number will not get much larger. The battle of faith, however, which will be waged everywhere and the beginnings of which are already noticeable everywhere, will merely reduce the number of the faithful, for then everyone will be willing to surrender me for the sake of earthly gain, and they won't muster the courage to fight for me because they are lacking living faith. And thus, the earth will ultimately no longer fulfill its purpose of serving the souls to attain spiritual maturity. Most people's earthly progress is in vain because it does not lead to the soul's maturity, which is the reason why they live on earth. Nevertheless, the spiritual being's development has to continue. And therefore, the earth will have to be restructured so that it will be able to be and remain a place of education for the spirits, as it is intended to be. Consequently, this period of salvation will come to an end and a new era will start. New creations will shelter the spiritual substances whose development was prevented, which necessitates a dissolution of these creations so that the bound spiritual substances can be set free and placed into new forms again. And so, people, too, ought to take an impending end into account, and those who failed on earth will have to be banished into creation again, into the hard matter on the new earth. And if people cherish the illusion that humanity's spiritual attitude might still change on this earth, that they will come to believe in Jesus Christ and his act of salvation and in this belief live a different way of life with spiritually orientated intentions and aspirations, then it will remain the wishful thinking of a few people which will never materialize. For my adversary is an authority which people themselves had granted him, and his activity will so get out of control that he will have to be bound, and for that reason alone an end will have to come, so that his activity will be stopped, or no one would be able to become blessed anymore. And this time has been referred to ever since the beginning of this period of salvation, and no matter how far away these announcements seem to you humans, one day even the future will become the present, and that has to be said to you time and again. This is why a spiritual change must come, however, not on this earth anymore but in a world of peace and happiness. A new developmental era will start with spiritually highly evolved human beings, whom I will remove from this earth due to their loyalty of faith and lead back to the new earth again. And then a spiritual change will have taken place and people will live in peace and harmony again, in constant contact with me, their God and Creator, and the blessed beings in my kingdom. For then love will reign again on earth, my adversary will no longer be capable of influencing the people on the new earth, for he will be bound for an infinitely long time, until people themselves loosen his chains and enable him to exert his influences once more. But prior to that there will be a long time of peace and happiness. Amen.